In 2010, Vigil Games presented us with a bold vision of the end of days, taking many recognizable features from several blockbuster video games of the last decade. The original Darksiders told an intriguing tale of angelic and demonic conspiracy that left the Horseman War struggling to prove his innocence. In their new sequel, Darksiders 2 follows the story of the Horseman's death as he delves into the very fabric of the underworld to uncover the truth behind War's supposed crime of causing the apocalypse prematurely. Much like the original title, Darksiders 2 is an amalgamation of gameplay mechanics from other successful video game series. While the sequel never exhibits mastery over any particular element, they are all well represented in Death's adventure. Legend of Zelda, God of War, Prince of Persia, Devil May Cry, even Gears of War gets its own little shout out. You will always feel like Darksiders 2 is a little too reminiscent of some game you've played before. Like many sequels, Darksiders 2 establishes itself by broadening the scope and deepening the lore behind the Darksiders universe. There are more characters this time around that help distinguish the different worlds, and you learn more about the origins of the Four Horsemen. Unfortunately, almost all of the main story unfolds around Death doing gopher quests, always having to gather a number of something before being allowed to continue. It's a standard mechanic that keeps the story along at a decent pace, but the constant feeling of running errands does get tedious by the second half of the story. While the Horseman War exuded raw power, Death is far more nimble and fragile than his brother. The combat system centers around Death's mobility, as dodging becomes the key to surviving almost any encounter. The general attack-dodge-attack scheme does become repetitive over time, but the deeper customization system and the new loot system keep things fresh by introducing new weapons and armor constantly. New weapons of various speeds and power pair well with Death's standard dual sights, and the ability to switch between them at any moment makes the majority of combat feel crisp and responsive. Moreover, the included skill trees allow you the preference of crafting the kind of fighting style you prefer. Players can specialize in up-close and brutal attacks, or they can utilize Death's ability to summon minions to his aid. Whatever your preference, both skill trees have ample power to bestow upon your character. The climax is rather abrupt and leaves the series open for a third title, but the almost 20-hour experience is still packed with plenty of dungeons, side quests, and collectibles that warrant a second playthrough. It certainly isn't the most innovative game by any means, but Darksiders 2 is still a worthy sequel that honors its predecessor while expanding where it needs to. With an inevitable third game on the way, Darksiders 2 is, simply put, a safe bet.